This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. Hi everyone, and welcome back to a brand new speed build. Today I have a roommate's penthouse for you guys, and I am so excited to share this build because it is my second build with the new expansion pack, The Sims 4 Lovestruck, which we got like 4 weeks ago now, so it's still new. But I can't believe this is only my second build. I should definitely have had more builds out, but if you watched last week's video, you will know that I have been really busy, so I have not been able to get any videos out until now. But yeah, anyways, today I have my second build with this new pack, and I mentioned last week, which if you haven't checked that video out, I highly recommend to do that, not only because you know, it's a video of mine, so if you like this video, you might like that one, but also because I do explain a lot more about this pack and like what I like and new things and stuff like that, so you might like that video, to get an explanation of things. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, I'm really tired. Anyways, so like I mentioned last week, I had like 2 ideas when this pack came out. I had one idea to build last week's build, which ended up being like an apartment complex slash like 3 homes on 1 lot. Someone commented and said that they were townhouses, which I guess so. When I think townhouses, I think of like kind of like San Francisco townhouses, so in my mind they're not townhouses, but I guess they would be townhouses. I don't know. But anyways, my second thing that I wanted to build was, of course, a penthouse, which is what you're getting this week. So if you didn't know, with this new expansion pack, we have 2 new penthouse lots, which I've only built 1 penthouse on the channel before, and that was a modern penthouse that I built in San Moschino, which I absolutely love. Like, it's one of my favorite builds I've ever done, and really like it. But that lot is a 30 by 20, and I believe that all the other penthouse lots that are in San Moschino are 30 by 20s, but the new ones in this world, this one is a 20 by 20 and the other one is a 20 by 15, so they're kind of small, and I really like that because penthouses in general kind of like intimidate me because they're so big, and obviously we can't use like, well, you can make a backyard, but like you can't use like a swing set, or I mean you can, but that might be very dangerous. I would not recommend, but you know, there's not a backyard space, so you have to like really fill it up otherwise, so it's kind of intimidating. But with the lots being smaller in like this new world, I feel like I'm gonna enjoy building them more. So yeah, today we're building a penthouse, and like I said before, they're for 2 roommates. I will talk about the like people that I imagine living here a little bit later, but yeah, it's for only 2 roommates. To be fair, there are 3 bedrooms because there ends up being like a woohoo room, which I will talk about, I promise. But yeah, there ends up being like a woohoo room, so technically you can sleep up to, I guess, 6 Sims because they're all double beds, but like 3 single Sims if you want them to have like different rooms and stuff like that. But I imagined to have 2 Sims living here, and that's how it's going to be for my save file. But anyways, if you're wondering how I'm building on this lot, because when I built my other penthouse, I got so many questions on how do you build a penthouse, because a lot of people don't know that we can do it. So again, in this new world and also in the world of San Moschino, we have in total now 5 different penthouse lots, and it's going to be kind of hard to like explain this, but it's very simple to build on them. Basically, you know, when you're like hovering over a lot in like a normal world, it will become like there's a green outline. That's how it's going to be on some penthouse lots. So in San Moschino, we have 1 in the fashion district, 1 in the finance district, and 1 in the art district. Is that what it's called? I think it's called art district. Whatever. So we have 1 in each of those districts, and basically on the top of some buildings you can see, like if you hover over them, you can see this green outline and you can build on them. The only thing that's different with a penthouse compared to like a regular house is there are 3 requirements for this build. So if you're building this, you can't exit build mode until you put these 3 things down, and those 3 things are an elevator, a trash can, and a mailbox. And you don't have to put like, you know, like a regular mailbox and a regular trash can, because that's kind of out of place. We do have some like trash chutes and some mailboxes that are like hanging from the wall from both City Living and this pack, and I think possibly some other pack. I know we have another mailbox that's like a wall mounted mailbox that is from what's it called, Snow Escape, which I do use in this build just because I like the look of it. But I think we might have another trash chute, but I'm not sure, which just makes more sense because if you've ever been in an apartment building, you're not gonna go downstairs. Like, let's say you live in like a 30-story apartment building. If you live on the 30th floor, you're not gonna want to go downstairs carrying your trash all the way. Like, no, there's gonna be a trash chute, most likely at least. I say as I have only lived in an apartment once in my life, and I moved away from that apartment when I was 2. Or no, actually, when I was, yeah, 2, 2.5, 3, something like that. I was very young. I do not remember, but in the apartment buildings that I have been in since then, they all have like trash chutes, unless they're like 3-story apartment buildings, when that normally different. But anyways, moving on, talking not about that. Also, when it comes to elevators, do have elevators in this game, which some people forget about sometimes because you can't use them as you would want to use them, really. I will talk about this actually next week's video, because next week's video is a special kind of video, and not a special video. It's not like a suburban home, if that makes sense. It's another house, but anyways, or building. And I wanted to use elevators in that, but like you can't really. You can technically place like one elevator on any lot, but they're also really hard to find. Usually I just search elevator in like the search menu, but they can be really hard to find. But once you find them, you can only place one, because if you place more, which you can't unless you kind of not cheat your way to it, but basically if you just like place an object down, you can place one, but then you can't place another. The way you could have several elevators on one lot is if you build a room around the elevator and then copy the room, then technically you will have several elevators, which is what I did first with that video, or the other build. I'll talk about this in next week's video probably as well, but I did that in that build, and I was like, oh, this is great. And then I wanted to save and exit the lot, but I couldn't because you can't have more than one elevator on a lot. So sadly, it is a hack, but it doesn't work. So you can just have one elevator. So for this build, for example, there's only like one elevator that goes into kind of like an entrance lobby area, because I didn't want the elevator to just open up into the apartment, because then I feel like random Sims will just come in. So I wanted there to be a door that you can actually like lock from like vampires and stuff as well. But yeah, anyways, there ends up only being one elevator in this, obviously, because you can't have more. And then there ends up being 2 staircases up to the other floors. But the elevator I used is a new elevator, which I really like. It has this kind of like, I want to say Art Deco feel to it, but I don't know how to explain it, but it's really cute. I used it in Black Swatch. But yeah, anyways, moving on, talking more about this build. So when I went into this house, when I went into my game wanting to build this, I didn't really have an idea of how I wanted it to look. I knew I wanted to be like modern on the exterior, just because when I think penthouse, I think modern or like industrial, but in this part of this world, at least, it just doesn't make sense to have an industrial. I mean, you could, but I didn't want it, and I wanted to kind of still match, you know, the rest of the world and like the build it's on top of and stuff like that. So I kind of just went in beforehand. Actually, I do this a lot. I've talked about it before, how I very, very rarely just like go into an empty lot and then start recording and then I figure out. Like, usually I will go into an empty lot, I won't start recording until like I have figured out something. Like, I kind of figure out like the main shape. I don't even place windows and stuff like that down. I just kind of figure out the main shape, just so it's easier to record and so you don't have to see me struggle a lot, to be honest. But yeah, so I did do that with this one as well. And when I was doing that as well, this is not based off a picture from Pinterest or anything like that. This is just from my mind, and really the only thing that I knew that I wanted to have on this build, well, there's a lot of things, but like the thing that kind of made the build look the way it does is I think you would call it kind of like an awning. It's this like big wood awning that ends up being above one of the 2nd-story balconies, which you can probably see. It's from the Desert Luxe kit, and I genuinely don't think I've ever used it before. It's really pretty. It's just really big, and I've just never found a use for it, but I really wanted to use it, so I I made it so I could use it, and I really like it. I feel like it really makes the build. Maybe no one else thinks that, but like in my opinion, I think it makes the build, and I really like it. And then I also knew that I obviously wanted to use like the new windows and the new doors and stuff like that, because in last week's video I only used some of the new windows and some of the new doors. So for this one I wanted to use the more kind of like modern industrial windows. So I used the big ones and I used the smaller ones. I used the one that has like an open window, which I talked about last week as well, which I love. And I used the new doors, both inside the house, like into bathrooms and stuff like that. The single tiled doors I think are the same as I used in last week's video as well, but into the bedrooms there is another door. There's like 2 tile wide. There's like 1.5 tile wide, but it takes up 2 tiles technically, but it's kind of like in the middle. I think you would get what I understand, but anyways, it looks like a wider door, and it has this like weird pattern on it, but I feel like it worked for this house, which is also why I wanted to build like this instead of just building like another kind of I don't know what to call last week's video, but like a villa or a more like Mexican suburban home, because I wanted to use objects that are different from last week's video, if that makes sense, like things that from the new pack that like I didn't use last week. So yeah, I did that with like the new windows and the new doors, and then also these big black doors you will see that leads out from like the balconies and onto the I mean, I guess it is like a huge balcony, but you know, like the outdoor space on the first floor that has like the pool and the seating areas and everything like that. The 2 doors that leads onto that, those are also new, and I love them. They're so like clean and sleek, but also just so pretty. I love them so much. Also, sorry about that. My voice was actively dying. It is still dying. It is really late. I'm really tired. I've been working all day, and then I came home, took a nap, and then here I am. I will talk about it later, but I'm really tired, so my voice is gonna might be a little lost. I'm so sorry for that. But anyways, the only windows that are not from this new pack are the like big windows in the front. The ones that are like they're not actually 2 stories tall, but like I used them on the first story and then on the first floor and then on the second floor as well. And those are the ones that leads into the living room and then the first bedroom you will see me decorate. And those big windows I think are from Eco Lifestyle. We have a few different ones that are like basically similar. We have some base game ones, we have those ones, we have ones from it's got Island Living I think as well, but obviously the first floor is on the medium wall height, and I do use platforms a lot in this build just because the medium wall height scares me. I don't like using it. It's too tall. I don't like empty spaces, and I feel like there always leaves like a lot of empty wall space, so I do use a lot of platforms in this build. But yeah, I wanted to use like a medium wall height window, and I feel like at least the black swatch on the Eco Lifestyle like open just modern windows, the ones I use in this one, it's so much more like black than the black swatch of the base game window, so that's why I use them. But those are the only ones. So even the like single tile kind of similar window, but on the single tile one that I used on the 3rd floor, those are also from this new pack, which I don't know why we got a new one, but we did. It does have kind of like a thicker rim around it, so I feel like it matches one of the smaller windows. But yeah, anyways, I basically just wanted to really use the new windows in this. But anyways, again, moving on to talk about the build and what you've kind of seen me do already. So we're finishing up like kind of part of the exterior. I do like all of the like balconies and everything like that right away, just because I don't know, I really wanted to like get them done and to like get the exterior done, kind of get like a feel of how it looked. So there ends up being a few different balconies. There's 2 on the 2nd floor and then there's 1 on the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor, you won't see me do this because I do this off camera, but I do end up using or like adding a roof piece, just because I kept seeing like a lot of different people building penthouses, which is also a reason why I didn't post this as my first build with this new pack, because everyone was posting penthouses. Obviously, like we love when we get like, you know, new penthouse lots or new apartment lots. I really wish we'd have gotten new like apartments with this, but we can build our own apartments now technically with the 4 expansion pack, so I think it's fine. But yeah, I just saw a lot of people do penthouses, so I was like, maybe I should not post that as my first video, but I just want to do one, so here we go. But yeah, anyways, so I saw a lot of people use that like roof, and I was like, oh my god, I also want to do that, and that was like the perfect place for it. And part of the roof ends up being a skylight, but because that balcony area is counted as a room, the like glass roof that I used, it won't shine through to the like second floor, because if you didn't know, normally if you use like a glass roof on top of like a regular, as you know, if you could build, for example, like a greenhouse and you put a glass roof, it will obviously like shine through, it become like, you know, open, but because this is counted as a room that has a, not a platform, a foundation, but like, you know what I mean, like it has a, you know, a flooring basically, it won't be as a skylight. So instead sorry, I'm losing my words right now. I sized down this like small glass flooring object that we got from Island Living, and I sized it down to be one tile like big, because it's a square, so one tile is one tile by one tile, and I put that there to kind of make it into a skylight, which I really like, and it shines right into the landing area on the second floor, and there's like a piano there and everything. I think it looks so cute. Another thing you will see me do on like off camera is I end up putting some sound lounges on the like right by the pool, because I forgot about them. I genuinely forgot about them until like I had exited the game, like took a break. I don't know what I did, probably like ate or something, and then I came back and I was like, wait, I didn't add sound lounges, so I did that. But anyways, on the third floor balcony, like I was talking about, there ends up being that roof piece, but I also used the new like woohoo picnic blanket thingy. The one I used looks like a bear, and I just felt like it fitted because this entire apartment is very much like black, white, and gold, which I really like the gold accents all throughout this build. I try to use them as much as possible, and I feel like we have a lot of things from packs that work with it, so I'm really happy with it. But anyways, so yeah, there ends up also being like a little seating area there, and on the other balconies there ends up being like more seating areas. One ends up having like a bar and stuff like that, and on the, again, I guess technically would be like a balcony, but on the like first floor balcony, that's the big one that has a pool, there also obviously ends up being a pool, which of course I used the new round pool feature because I had to, obviously, but I only like rounded a corner because I couldn't really fit another pool. I wanted to make like a heart-shaped pool, but it just wouldn't fit really the way I wanted to, so I didn't. But maybe next time. But yeah, anyways, I think that's it for the exterior. I don't know. Again, it's not really based off of a picture from Pinterest. I was looking at Pinterest for inspiration, but none of them really tickled my fancy, if you will. So I decided to just like do whatever. But so I might have pulled inspiration from like several. I don't know, but yeah. And I use like 3 different wallpapers. I use one that is like a brick that is from the fitness stuff pack. Out of all the stuff packs, fitness one is kind of random, but it looks good. And then I think the concrete like gray wallpaper, I think it's Eco Lifestyle. I might be incorrect by saying that. I don't know. And then the kind of like brown wallpaper that I don't know how to explain. It looks like paneling, but like, I don't know, it's brown. Anyways, I use that. Okay, I am so sorry if you heard that. I don't know if I might pick that up, but I am in a call with my friends and I just finished to record this. And so I think someone like joined, so if you heard a joint sound, that was on my end, and I am so sorry if that tricked you, because there's so many times I watch videos and that's happened and I'm like, wait, I'm not in a call, am I? But yeah, anyways, that was on my end. I am so sorry. But yeah, that like brown wallpaper is from the not the Get Together, it's Growing Together expansion pack, which I almost never use, but I felt like I fitted for this one. And again, in general, for this entire build, I went for like a very black, white, and gold theme, but also kind of just like neutral, like wood tones and stuff like that. And I really like it, and I feel like it really fits the Sims that I imagine living here. So moving on to talk about those, I imagine again to be 2 roommates, and I was thinking that they're probably like best friends. Maybe they're even like sisters, but I was thinking they're probably like best friends or something like that. Not sure how they met, but they did. Well, I mean, obviously they met at some point. But again, I'm not sure how, but I was thinking that they're probably in careers where they make some money. Either that or they have rich parents. It's one of the two. They're trust fund babies. Maybe like one of them is, and then the other one is maybe, I was gonna say a lawyer, but I don't know if this gives off lawyer vibes. But anyways, they're in some sort of like high paying career. But yeah, I was thinking that they're both like young adults. They are single and they are ready to mingle. Sorry, I had to. But they are just like, they're just out here living in the city, doing whatever they're doing, and they have this apartment, and it's kind of like a party place. That's why I used like bars in some places where they have a pretty big dining room and like a living room, stuff like that. It's just because like I was thinking that this is kind of like a party place, and not in the sense of like frat parties, but like in the sense of they probably like have a lot of friends over, and they probably host more sophisticated parties, but like not that sophisticated. I don't know. I feel like I'm not really saying this well. But yeah, so that's also kind of why I ended up using, I feel like the gold is like the black and gold one, the whole theme from this apartment. I feel like it's kind of like youthful, but in like a sophisticated way. It doesn't make sense. It does not make any sense. But again, they have some money, obviously, since they live in this penthouse. And I was thinking that they are both, again, they're single, they're ready to mingle. And so they have the woo-hoo spot like on the third like the third floor balcony, like I mentioned before, like that bear rug picnic thingy. I think it looks like I mean like the other we have like a few different kinds of those now, and the other ones look like picnic blankets, so that's why I'm calling it that, but that one doesn't. But anyways, so obviously there's that woohoo spot, but then there also, like I mentioned before, there ends up being a like woohoo room. Honestly, that ended up being because there ended up being like another room and I didn't know what to do with it. So because I didn't feel like these would be the type of people to have like a home gym, plus I did use the new like gym equipment things in last week's video, so I decided to do a woohoo room. And okay, I tried to go off of things I've seen like from the movies, because I have never been, I was gonna say I have obviously never been, but I don't know if that's obvious. I hope it would be, but I've never been to like a woohoo place. That sounds really weird. Anyways, I'm gonna move on from that. But yeah, I kind of went off like movie wise, and so it ends up being like kind of dark, and I used the snake wallpaper in there. I do use the snake wallpaper, like the new snake wallpaper. Whoa. I could not say wallpaper there for a second. But yeah, I do use the new snake wallpaper a little bit all over the house. I used it in like the dining room and in the like living room as like an accent wallpaper, which I feel like it works very well. I saw Jessica Pye's video that when she did her penthouse for this new pack, when I watched that, she also used it, and I realized that like how good the like neutral swatches looked. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Jessica Pye, or yeah, I was gonna say if you haven't checked out Jessica Pye's video on that, but then like if you haven't checked her out at all, go and do it. She's absolutely amazing. She's one of the best builders, if not the best builder in The Sims right now. So yeah, go check her out. But anyways, she kind of inspired that. I didn't even think to do that until I saw that video. So all credit goes to her. Credit where credit is due, as always. But yeah, I used that, and then the woohoo room, I ended up putting like roses like on the bed and are all around there, like candles all over the place and stuff like that, which again, I don't know how a woohoo room looks, but I feel like it works. I think there also ends up being a lot of mirrors in there. Do with that what you want. Personally, I would not want a lot of mirrors, but some people do, so you do you. But yeah, again, I was thinking that like obviously you can have whoever you want living here, but I was thinking that they're two like young women living here. They're pretty confident in their sexualities, and they're just like, they're here, they're ready to mingle. And I was like pingle, I don't know what that means, but anyways, so yeah, and so that's why there ends up being like a lot of also open space. Like the entire first floor is kind of just an open space, kind of, and I really like it because I feel like, again, it goes into like the kind of like party vibe in a way, when everything is just open. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does to me. I'll talk more about like their specific rooms when like a little bit later. I was gonna say when I get them, I'll probably talk about it before that, but anyways, so for the rest of the apartment, again, white, black, and gold theme, and again, I feel like it looks really good. I am personally a silver person, a lot of the time I do think like gold, when it comes to like jewelry and stuff like that, I feel like gold looks really good on some people. I just don't think I have the like complexion for it. Maybe I do, but I am the palest of pales. Like it's literally starting to become an issue to where like when I'm buying like makeup products, stuff like that, you know how there's a big issue in the music industry? What? In the makeup industry, where they don't like, they're not shade inclusive, like they just do like for light skin tones, which is absolutely like, what the fuck are you doing? Sorry, I should not be swearing right now, but you know what? It makes me mad because why? Not everyone has a light skin tone, like why the fuck? But anyways, so you know how that's an issue? Yeah, I have the opposite issue. There are no shades that are light enough for me. Sorry if you heard someone honk outside. It's 1:30 a.m. and someone is honking outside. That's concerning. But anyways, so yeah, I have the opposite issue. Like that's how pale I am. So I'm really pale and I am like blonde. I'm literally the most Swedish, like traditionally Swedish, stereotypically traditional Swedish person you will ever see. I am blonde, blue-eyed, and very, very pale. So I feel like silver suits me better, but maybe that's just because I've always had silver. I don't know. If you know things like that, let me know if I should be wearing gold or not, because I mean I could. I actually inherited a lot of gold jewelry, but I just don't use it because I prefer silver. To be fair, now all my jewelry is silver, and I have like matching jewelry with my boyfriend, and I don't want to change that to be like gold because we're both silver people normally. So even if you say I'm gold, I probably still stick to silver. But anyways, so using gold for this apartment was a little bit outside my comfort zone, but I really like it. I also tried to add some splashes of color. So like the dining room chairs are this beautiful like red, pink, corally color. Is that a sentence somewhere in there? I think so. There is a sentence in there. What am I speaking about? I'm sorry. I'm so out of it. I'm so tired, and not gonna lie, I have been drinking tonight, but it's like 4% ones. They don't affect me. This is just me. If you've been here before, you will know that this is not drunk Mal. This is just regular Mal. Trust me. Drunk Mal is something else. But if I see like extra out of it, that's why. But it's probably just because I'm tired, because I've been working all day and I'm really tired. But yeah, anyways, it's that kind of like, again, like pink, red, corally color. And I also use like the matching armchairs in the same like color. They're not matching, but they're in the same color that we got from this new pack as well, and I really like them. I feel like they add a splash of color. But yeah, also in this apartment or penthouse apartment or whatever, I do end up using or making some custom furniture pieces. I think I end up using, or why do I keep saying using? I think I end up making two, and they're both in the living room. So the first one is, or I guess the second one, but the smallest one that I'm gonna say first, is a custom coffee table, which I did basically the same coffee table in a video a while back. That was a land grab mansion, like upgrade. What is it called? Renovation. It was me reimagining the land grab house, basically. And I had like base game, what was it? Island Living and the My Wedding Stories game pack when I built that, because it was for a collab, so I had to kind of improvise some things. And so for this like living room when I was making it, I wanted like bigger coffee tables. So I was like, you know what, I'll just do the same thing. And so I just sized up some shelves and used the tool mod and stuff like that, which I think looks really good. But then the main custom like furniture thing in this entire penthouse is the custom fireplace I did, which I've been seeing a lot of people do. Again, I know that Jessica Pye did it in her video. Hers is so much better than mine, but hers is also like a double side one, which you can definitely make the one that I did into double side one, but mine didn't end up being one. But basically I wanted a fireplace, and I wanted a more like kind of modern one, but I wanted one that like took up some space. So I decided to make my own, and it took me forever, and I did edit out like some parts, but I do show you most of it. I just edit out like the tedious parts. And so basically what I end up doing is I first off, like for the top part, those are some sized up like stove, what's it called? Stove fans? What are those called? I've never known what to call them. You know the fans you have like above a stove? Those are sized up ones. They're base game, they're black, they work perfectly. I test them up using the tool mod, which by the way, if you are curious about how I'm using the tool mod in this build, I did post a tool mod a tutorial, there we go, a tool mod tutorial last week as well, or I don't know if it was last week because I didn't post it last week, so it would have been, you know, the week before that. But anyways, yeah, so if you're wondering how I'm using the tool mod to make this fireplace, you can go watch that one. But anyways, like how I'm rotating stuff and stuff like that. But yeah, and then the like bottom portion of the fireplace are these slabs that are from the Ciudad not expansion pack, game pack. God, maybe the alcohol is affecting me. I don't know. By the way, I feel like I need to preface this. I am of legal drinking age. Don't worry. I am 20 years old and I live in a country where the drinking age is 18, so don't worry. And I'm being very responsible with it because I'm at home and I've already drunk like 2 and they're both 4%ers, so don't worry, I'm totally fine with it. But anyways, so the like again the base is those slabs, and then the backing, which you will see me do because I wanted like a black back for it. Are also some rotated wall decorations that are from the castle estate kit out of everything, just because I like the texture on them, really. And then I rotated again those same thing that I things that I end up making or using to make the skylight that I talked about before. And those are the square like glass floor tile things that we got from the Island Living expansion pack, and so I just sized them down and then I rotated them to make a kind of like border around it just to make it a little bit more open. And then we have these debug wood logs, there we go, wood logs. I look on wood slabs. I cannot speak English, is not Englishing today apparently, but there are these wood logs that I used as well, and I just used the tool mod again to kind of like rotate them and make them a little bit like some different directions, stuff like that, just to make them look more natural. And then there is a sized down fireplace within those logs that are black as well, which if you have trouble finding it, you can just change the color to be like white or something so you can find it easier, but I made it black to kind of blend in. But if you can still light the fireplace, and then there will look like the fire is coming from those logs, and it looks so good. I do also end up making kind of like a custom wood storage thing on the wall, which I saw somewhere. I don't remember who it was, and I'm so sorry for it. If I can find it, I will put it up on the screen right now. If I can't, I am so sorry. But I saw it just like in passing. I don't know if it was a video, if it was on Twitter, like where it was, but it was just in passing. I saw it, and basically what I think they did, which is what I ended up doing, was we have these they're not wall decorations, but they look like they should be attached to a wall. They're actually really big, and they're from the Get Together expansion pack, and so they're big and they're kind of this like L shape, and so I just sized them down, and then using the tool mod I rotated them so like the top portion is like the L that goes into the wall, and then the bottom portion is like the rotated, like the flipped version of it, so that L also goes into the wall. And then again I just used the wood logs to kind of make like a wood storage, and I feel like it takes up that space on the wall really nicely. Plus it's realistic, you need a lot of logs to have a fire. I should know we have 2 fireplaces in my house, I should know that. There's always like, if we usually light them during like winter time and fall time. I almost call it autumn time, which is also correct. But if you didn't know, I spent all my time with British people basically because my boyfriend is British and all our friends are British. But they say autumn, and so I just think autumn. But then I feel like when I say autumn, it just sounds wrong, so I say fall normally. But anyways, so I usually light like the fires in the fireplaces around that time, and if like the wood has ran out, like no one wants to go outside and get them. I refuse to because there's a lot of spiders in there, and I genuinely just refuse to. So someone else has to do it. It's usually like my mom does it sometimes, and then my dad does it, and then my brother does it, and my aunt. So everyone except me basically, and my cousin. Neither of us do it. Let's say we're too young. We're 20. We should definitely be able to do it, but we just don't. But anyways, so yeah, I think it took up the space really nicely. And then the rest of the living room it's still really big, but I feel like I made the space work. I wanted this penthouse to be like obviously modern but also cozy, so there are fairy lights in some places, and there's a lot of pillows on like the couches and stuff like that, which I used a mixture of the pillows that we got from the like that are base game, but we got them from like the you unlock them through playing that was like a month or 2 ago, which if you didn't know, apparently, at least from what I've heard, even if you didn't get those items because you didn't log on to the game and so you couldn't get them. If you download this build, those pillows and like everything else from those like drops will still be in the build. I don't know how that works, but apparently that's true. Again, don't quote me on it, but from what I've heard, that's how it works still. So I used a mixture between those pillows and then the ones that we got from the Modern Luxe kit, which I used a lot from the Modern Luxe kit just because it worked so well for this apartment, because it has some of the like, again, the gold, which I really like even the pillows have the gold. I just feel like it looks so good. And I used like, you know, the big light from that pack, and I used a chair from that pack and everything. It worked. Or kit, it's not a pack, it's a kit, but yeah, it just worked so well, so I really like it. There also ends up being a little bar space, like kind of, I was gonna say behind the living room, but like between the living room and the kitchen, there's being a little bar space, which I did keep into the video. I didn't think I was going to, but then I realized that this video is shorter than I thought it would be, which if you've been here before, you won't know that this is a shorter video. Well, it's like a regular length video, but if you have not been here before, you might be like, what are you talking about? This is such a long video. It is, but like normally, like last week's video I think was like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that, so yeah, we don't talk about that. My videos are usually really long. I was telling my boyfriend, because I think it was like yesterday, he was like, I'm gonna deafen, because we were with our friends, and he was like, I'm gonna deafen and eat, and I was like, and he said, I'm watching YouTube. I was like, you better not watch me, like as a joke, because he watches my videos, and I don't know how to feel. Like, obviously I love that he's supportive, but also it's a little weird sometimes because I speak about him. But he was like, you know what, just because of that, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, yeah, I bet you won't, because the last one was an hour and was really long, and he was like, they all are. And I was like, true, but this one is my longest. So he kind of called me out on it. But to be fair, I feel like that's the charm of my videos, is that, you know, they're long. You can sit here and, I don't know, let me know what you're doing right now. I've been I've been listening a lot to My Favorite Murder, which is a true crime podcast. If you didn't know, it's like one of the OG ones. And I've been listening to a lot of them because for some reason, I tried to listen to them like years ago and I just could not vibe with them. And so I stopped. And then recently I was like on the lookout for a new true crime podcast, because I'm always on the lookout for a new one. And they keep getting recommended, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try. And then I realized that I really like them, so I have been listening to them, and a new section or like part that they have, it's called like, what are you even doing right now? So like people write in what they're doing while they're listening to their podcasts. If I would do that, it would just be like, I'm building, I'm recording, I'm on my way to work, or I'm getting ready in the morning. Those are the times I'm listening to those podcasts, which to be fair ends up being like a lot of time, because I build so much, and I commute to like work and school and stuff like that, which I start school tomorrow. From when this comes out, I start school and I'm scared, but it will be fine. I haven't gone to school in 2 years, and now I'm back and I'm scared. Anyways, so let me know what you're doing right now when you're watching this. I don't know, wait, how did I get onto this? I don't know. This is how I am. But anyways, talking about like the bedrooms that are for the two people now, because I feel like those are the things that I actually need to talk about until I can ramble more. But the first bedroom, is actually the second try you will see me do of it. It looks the same, exact same from the first try. I just forgot to press record, because that happens a lot. I need to start being better at that, because it happens so often where like I think I'm recording and then I'm not, and I'm like, dang it, I'm supposed to be recording right now, and then I'm not, and it's really annoying. But anyways, so the first bedroom ends up being a little bit like lighter. It ends up having the Modern Luxe bed, which I don't think I've ever used before, because it's really pretty. It's just not my style normally, but I felt like it fitted into this entire apartment, so yeah, I really liked it. I also end up using the new like floral wallpaper that we have, which is so pretty. I love it so much. I used it in again last week's video as well, but I keep saying last week's video is technically like two videos ago, or because I had the tool mod tutorial in between, but then also it was 2 weeks ago, because I did post last week because I was so busy and I was sick, so I did not have time. But yeah. Anyway, what? Also, if you didn't see, I'm changing my upload schedule to be on Sundays instead of Fridays. So if you're wondering why this is up on a Sunday, I have changed it. I posted a community post about it and on Twitter. So if you didn't see that, well, now you know. Anyways, there, again, like I said before, there ends up being a vanity in this room, and there also ends up being like a clothing rack and a walk-in wardrobe that we got from the not growing together, the get together special. I always mix those two up. It's the same with like get together and get famous, because they have like the same words in them, and they're really confusing, and I sometimes wonder if the Sims team are like running out of name ideas. I don't know. But yeah, I was thinking that the first bedroom, like the person that lives there is maybe a little more like traditionally feminine of the two, but I was thinking that the other one's still, because you will see me when I do the other one, I still put like some purses and like shoes, stuff like that, and it's like clothes and stuff like that. So I was thinking that they're still very much into it, but this one is more like traditionally feminine. And then the second bedroom ends up being a little bit darker, so maybe it's more like that person has a little bit more edge to him, you know? I don't know. Maybe they like darker clothing, and like maybe they wear like eyeliner all the time, which to be fair, traditionally feminine people do all the time as well. But I just associate like black eyeliner, like a cat wing, with more, I was gonna say edgier people. That sounds really weird, but you know what I mean. I wear that sometimes, and not at work, but if I'm like going out, I never go out. If I'm like going somewhere, like I don't know, maybe probably when I start school now, I'll probably wear eyeliner if I have the time, because eyeliner takes so much time because it's so annoying to do. But yeah, anyways, I get to rant in like 1 second. I need to finish talking about this. There also ends up being a little office space on the second floor, which to be fair, I definitely could have put like, I don't know, like desks in both of their like bedrooms, but I felt like they wouldn't have desks in their bedrooms, so there ends up being again a desk space there. And then I was thinking that maybe that's one of the people's computer and the other one has a laptop or something like that. I don't know. And then there are two like full bathrooms, if that makes sense. There's 2.5 bathrooms. So there's one on the second floor, one on the third floor, and then the half bath on the first floor is off the kitchen, and it is like again, half bath, so it has a toilet and a sink, but then there's also laundry in there, so that's why it ends up being half bath. But yeah, I think that's it for the building portion, like the build portion of this, the house portion. Again, as always, if you have any questions, let me know. I am now going to go into my rambles, because that is what I do. To be fair, I haven't prepared any rambles. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. I really don't. How are you guys? I hope you're well. I always say that, but I hope you're well. I was sick again. There wasn't a video last week because I was working all week, and I didn't know that I had to work Saturday. Like, my boss asked me if I could work Saturday, and I was like, yeah, sure. So I did. And so I just did not have any time to finish editing and then also record a voiceover and stuff like that. I didn't have time, which again, I don't stress myself too much with videos because I know that's not healthy for me, but I want to try to have videos out each week for you guys, because I love making videos. It's so much fun. But yeah, so there was no video out last week because of that. And then also I got sick. Like, during Saturday when I was working, I could feel a little bit that I was like sick, but then during the night, like not night, but like after work, and like during the evening time, stuff like that, like later on in the day, I was like, oh no, I'm sick. And then I was really sick, so I couldn't work like the first half of this week. And then I worked, and then my boss also asked me if I could work Saturday this week, but at another pharmacy, which they've been asking me to do a lot recently, which is really fun, because that means that they're really happy with what I'm doing, because they obviously would have asked me to work in another pharmacy if they weren't happy with me. But anyways, so yeah, I've been having a lot of fun at that, but I'm now done with work, like full-time work, because during like they only need me full-time during the summertime, and then during like the rest of the year they just like call me in when they need me, because I'm not a pharmacist. Obviously I'm just there to help out with other things. I don't know how to explain what I do in English really, but yeah, so they don't need me during the like all year round basically, which is good, because I start school tomorrow, which I am super excited about. I'm a little bit scared, but I'm also mostly excited because again, I took like one class last year, technically in the beginning of this year, but it wasn't really a lot, and I didn't end up finishing it because we realized that like it didn't matter because I had to retake it anyways. But since I dropped out of school, like for 2 years ago now, because of my mental health, I've been wanting to get back, but I knew I had to wait because I dropped out because of my mental health, but it wasn't just that I was like depressed and stuff like that, which I really was at the time. I still am. I'm still on antidepressants. I still get really depressed. But I just couldn't. I didn't have a lot of pressure on me, but I put a lot of pressure on me, and I basically, if you know what getting burnt out is, that is what I did. I got burnt out, which is not a good thing to be burnt out at 18 years old. Like normally that happens later in life, and I got it at 18 years old because I'm just like that. I have issues. But yeah, I'm really excited to go back to school now, and it's a different kind of school. It's not like traditional school, if that makes sense, so I think it's gonna work out really well. But yeah, I start tomorrow when this video is coming out, and I'm nervous, but I'm excited. So yeah, plus I've already been there and like seen the place and everything, so I had my interview there for it, so I know it's gonna go great, and I like my teachers and everything, but I'm a little bit nervous, but like I think it's gonna go well. But yeah, I don't know what else has been going on. I've not really had a great week. Again, I was sick, and then some other things have been happening, so my anxiety levels have been on like the highest they have been in over a year, so that's not great. But yeah, anyways, other than that, I've been just working the rest of the week. I had such a busy day when, obviously, again, I was sick the first half of the week, and then I got back on Thursday, and I had so much to do because I had been sick, and it's still like people are still on vacation and stuff like that. It didn't have time to do all the things, so like there was so much for me to do, so Thursday was so busy, and then Friday was like fine, it was regular, and then today I had nothing to do. Again, they needed me on this, like at this other pharmacy, because otherwise the other person would have been alone, and that's not good. So they needed me there, and I had like nothing to do, which was kind of nice, but at the same time, I like to have things to do when I'm working because it makes the time, fly by a lot faster, but it was fine. Plus I've worked with a person there before, and she's really nice, and we get along great, so it was fine. But yeah, that's how my week has been. And then the week before that, I just worked a lot, and I was really busy with stuff, so yeah. I don't know if there was something else I want to talk about. Not really. What I've been watching, I started rewatching 911 again, which I watched the first season like years ago. I think in like 2019 or 2020 or something like that. So like when it kind of had started, I think it premiered in 2018. So I watched the first season, and then I started on the second season, and then I just never finished it. So now I am on the second season now, and there's a lot more seasons, and I did like 911 Lone Star more, so I might rewatch that after this as well, but I think that got canceled. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think it had like 3 seasons or something like that, but yeah. Anyways, I don't know what else to talk about. I don't know. We're almost done with the video anyways, so that's a good thing. But yeah, again, I had a lot of fun with this build, and I hope you guys like it as well, because again, it's not maybe like my normal thing. Modern is not something that I'm too comfortable with, but like I need to be more comfortable with it, because modern builds are, I still need to do a lot of them for my save files, so I need to do more. But yeah, and I'm excited to see what I do for the other penthouse, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it into like an actual penthouse, or I'm gonna make it into maybe like a restaurant or a club or something. I don't know. But anyways, that's basically it for this video, and I really hope you liked it, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!